presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are so.
The Braves' final homestand at Turner Field and our farewell to the TED are brought to you by Georgia's best Chevy dealers on a beautiful night for baseball in Atlanta. It's the middle game of our three-game series between the playoff hopeful Detroit Tigers and the Atlanta Braves. Tonight's series continues with a big battle of first baseman. Freddie Freeman for Atlanta having a September to remember, 6 homers and 22 runs batted in. At first base for the Detroit Tigers is a former MVP and a man destined for Cooperstown. Miguel Cabrera hitting .347 with 10 homers of his own as the Tigers start play tonight. 1/2 game out of the wild card spot. Would you know it, fellas? We move to the month of October. It's October 1st. It's game 2, the Braves and the Tigers, and the battle of the first baseman continues in game 2.
Tell you what, these guys are good, aren't they?
They are really good.
I mean, when you look at those numbers and you start comparing them side by side, it's pretty amazing what they did in the month of September. How about this since the All-Star break? Tom, these guys, I would never have guessed that Freddie was this close to him, but they match up pretty nicely.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the September was one thing, but you look at, like you say, what they've done since the All-Star break, and you know, I think it'd be a surprise to a lot of people to see that Freddie's numbers are so comparable to Miguel's, but it just goes to show you the kind of season that Freddie's had, but really the kind of season that both those guys have had. Special hitters, fun to watch for everybody other than the guys on the mound that are trying to get him out.
Yeah, and those guys on the mound tonight are Jordan Zimmerman for the Detroit Tigers. He's a Braves killer. Aaron Blair looks for his second big league win as he faces the Tigers in game 2 this evening. When we come back, we'll take a peek at our pal Tom Glavine's favorite Turner Field moments as we get you set for the middle game of our series here at Turner Field. with Joe Simpson and Braves Hall of Famer Tom Glavine. Chip Carey with you back at the ballpark. There aren't many of us left who remember the old ballpark, much less played in the old one and played here at Turner Field. Tom, you were one of those. What are your favorite memories of Turner Field? Well,
there's so many of them. Obviously, a lot of playoff games here, World Series here, but I guess my personal memories certainly would start with the opening of the stadium and having the opportunity right here to walk home plate over from the old stadium with a guy like Hank Aaron, and knowing what he meant to this organization. So to have that honor to deliver home plate to the new stadium was a pretty neat moment for me. And then the All-Star Game 2000, so many guys. I can't believe looking at that picture, my son Peyton, my daughter Amber there, senior in high school, senior in college now, which is unbelievable. But that All-Star Game, the opportunity to play in an All-Star Game is a big thrill, obviously, but to do it in your home ballpark with a lot of guys on the team that were Braves guys, so that was a really cool experience as well. So there's been some fun ones.
There are a lot of memories that we will take to SunTrust Park in 2017. Joe, do you have one off the top of your head that sticks out for you here?
Well, I said last night, just watching all those pennants go up was a highlight, I guess you could say, but maybe because I was an old outfielder, the joy of being able to watch Andrew Jones do his thing here for so many years, that was a big highlight for many years too.
So 2 more games left, including tonight's with the Detroit Tigers. The man in the middle of the diamond will be Aaron Blair. He's got the ball for the Bravos, his final start of 2016. We'll see how he fares against the Tigers. First pitch mere moments away. Tigers meet for game 2. It's Aaron Blair's turn to pitch. This young man's picked up his first big league win this season. How about, fellas, his first home win this season tonight?
Yeah, that would be nice. Certainly great numbers at the AAA level, but not the same success here in the big league. So look for him to try and do something here tonight to have a good send-off into the offseason. 14 starts, 1-7 on the year with an 8 ERA, and certainly not the lineup you want to be facing for that send-off. But hey, who knows? We'll see what he can do tonight.
His 4 keys to pitching success, well, like a lot of the young pitchers, it has to do with the first inning. Starting blocks tonight. His ERA in the first inning, 9.64. That is 15 runs allowed in 14 starts in the first inning. And first pitch fastball strikes. Don't think that you can just groove a fastball first pitch to these guys to get ahead, because they will ambush it, and they're looking for that fastball.
And boy, did they ambush the fastball in the first inning last night against Matt Whistler, including Ian Kinsler, who yanked the first pitch foul, and then 3 pitches later yanked one to left and hit a long home run his 40th career leadoff homer in the big leagues. Brad Ausmus and the Tigers start play tonight, 1/2 game back in the American League wild card chase. So Blair goes to work, and we are underway. And it's a called strike. Vic Carapazza is the home plate ump.
First pitch breaking ball.
Yeah, it was.
Mr. Kinsler is getting hot at just the right time for Detroit. But he's behind here 0-2. Swing and a miss. Blair's off to a good start. How about that? We mentioned last night, guys, that this Tiger team hunts fastballs. Blair didn't throw him many, if any, in that sequence.
No, and look, when a team's a good fastball hitting team, that doesn't mean you don't throw it. I think some of the things you can do is pitch backwards a little bit, you know, breaking balls in fastball counts or breaking balls early in a count kind of thing. But also, you just have to make sure that when you're going to throw your fastball, like Joe kind of alluded to, it's not just, hey, let's throw it for a strike. It's got to be a quality pitch.
Cameron Maybin got hit on the hand last night in the 6th inning, but back at it tonight. Maybin had a single and scored ahead of Cabrera's homer in the first last night. Cameron's a great guy. Did good work for the Braves. And you might recall was originally a Tiger. If I'm not mistaken, he was in the Cabrera deal.
He was.
1 ball, 1 strike, and fouled back.
There's a good fastball location. Tied him up. This is the 3rd start for Aaron with his change in delivery and mechanics by not making that big twisting turn in his windup. He's picking that kick leg straight up, keeping his eye on the target, then going to the plate.
That took a shot at the mask of Anthony Recker, who's behind the plate tonight. And Anthony turns around and said, "Yep, I'm fine."
I only wear a mask because they make me.
1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Another off-speed pitch. 2 up, 2 down, 2 swinging strikeouts.
Took a little off that breaking ball. See, and you can do that when you're that fastball inside that kind of kept Cameron a little bit honest in there. Makes it hard for him to get a good look at that breaking ball away.
So here's Cabrera, 8-game hitting streak for Miguel. 3 hits last night, 2 of them homers. And he took a fastball inside corner.
He's driven in 14 runs during that 8-game streak.
So 2 pitches on the inner half in this sequence to Miguel Cabrera, who's driven home 108 runs this season. Fly ball center, but no carry to it. And Aaron Blair is going to work a perfect and impressive 1-2-3 first. 2 strikeouts, a flyout, and only 11 pitches. Jordan Zimmerman goes to work in the bottom of the first. first inning. Braves were held in check last night by Daniel Norris, and they greet a familiar face in Jordan Zimmerman, now with the Tigers.
9-6 on the year. He's had a lot of success against the Braves and here at Turner Field in his career. 16 starts against the Braves, 7-3 with a 2.5 ERA and 3-1 with a 2.06 here at Turner Field.
He's coming off a stint on the disabled list where he's been battling a bad neck, and his last start against Baltimore was ugly. An inning, 4 hits, 6 runs. He has made a relief appearance since then. 3 innings of 4-hit, 1-run ball, no walks, 4 strikeouts against Kansas City. So he's hoping that that relief stint got him back on track.
His first of the night to Inciarte is off the plate, and Zimmerman's night is underway with ball 1. Rare 0 for Ender last night, 0 for 4. As this one's bounced foul past first. Inciarte's been one of the best hitters in our league since the break. 99 hits and a .346 average since the All-Star game. Fly ball hit toward right. Martinez on the run. He's going to get there running parallel to the track. And Inciarte's retired. 1 out in the first.
That breaking ball came right to Ender's barrel, but he was just a little bit out in front of it. Zimmerman got away with one there.
So our Georgia Lottery jackpot man tonight is Adonis Garcia. Adonis had a 5th inning infield hit last night, and it was a bullet off the arm of Norris.
Well, you see he's at 269, and if he can finish it at 270 or better, that will be a remarkable turnaround of his season. It already is, but 270 would be a real milestone for him.
Fly ball again curling toward right, and that's the 2nd out. So Freddie Freeman bats, the Braves first baseman, with 88 RBIs, 33 homers, a .304 average. In the Braves' final game against the Phillies, his 30-game hit streak and 46-game on-base streak came to an end. Freddie did reach last night with a walk, and he swings at the first one. And Martinez on the run toward the gap in right center, gives way to Maben, who very nearly dropped it. Wow, near miscommunication there, and Cameron Maben makes the play with a basket catch and maybe a bobble too. No bobble, he had it all the way, and the Braves are out in order in the bottom of the first inning. And his Tigers are a very loose bunch, despite being on the outside looking in at the playoff race at the moment. But guys, they're only a half game back, and Toronto's got to play the Red Sox a little bit later on this evening.
So Baltimore's already won.
No, they got beat.
Oh, they got beat.
Yeah, they got beat 7-3.
So the Yankees helped out the Tigers. Detroit hoping that Boston can do the same.
So Baltimore, did I read that right? Said they were up a half.
It was going into today, so if they lost, so
that was
they're even
today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, Tigers and Baltimore each with 73 losses. Well, in fact, all three of the top teams each with 73 losses. Beware the Mariners. They're lurking too. The Mariners are 86 and 74. So we will keep an eye on the AL scoreboard all night. That is critically important as JD Martinez hits. And Blair's breaking stuff has given the Tigers fits so far in the early going. Swing and a miss. Another breaking ball. Blair's got 3 strikeouts.
Great start for Aaron.
Here's Justin Upton. Big night for Justin last night. He's had plenty of those in the last month. Upton has 17 home runs and 40 RBIs in his last 36 games. And if anything defines the career of Justin Upton, his ability to get hot for a month and carry a club. And he has really picked up a heavy load.
Yeah, he's had a tremendous ability to do that over the course of his career.
And another big night at Turner Field for him. He's done that before too.
Woo! Good fastball from Blair. One of his best of the year. That one popped the glove at 93 miles an hour. That one sailed high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mets clinched the home field advantage for their wild card game today. They beat the Phillies 5-3, and that's a big win for New York in more ways than one. I'll explain after the pitch to Upton. Swing and a miss. Blair got him. 4 strikeouts for Aaron so far.
Two-seamer with some action.
Yep, I like it. Throw the 4-seam fastball is a little harder. That 2-seamer's a little softer, a little bit more movement. Nice sequencing and execution so far.
Nick Castellanos, the Tiger third baseman, digs in with 2 outs. And they're off speed. Check, swing and a miss. The importance of the game for the Mets means tomorrow's game means nothing to them. And by that I mean they don't have to pitch Syndergaard tomorrow. He will pitch the wild card game for the Mets. No balls into strike.
Great breaking ball. So they have the tiebreakers.
Apparently so.
Home field advantage on the tiebreaker with the Giants or Cardinals.
Yeah, the most wins the Cardinals can get is 86, so the Mets have 87. Most wins that the Giants can get is 87, so I assume they do have a head-to-head lead as Blair just struck out the side. That was impressive work. 5 strikeouts in the first 2 innings, and Joe, how about Aaron Blair tonight?
Career high already.
First 2 innings of work, and our great camera crew is getting a little hungry here at the ballpark, and our high-tech delivery system is in top working order here in the final days of Turner Field.
Yeah, it's the only way you actually can get food around here is by high.
Comes down from the heavens.
Yes, it does.
Truly manna from heaven.
Yeah. So we're gonna send them back a Tom Glavine autograph.
Between that and our high-tech, I mean, between that and our high-tech communication device that we have with our truck over by where our sport coats hang, we have got things covered for you here the last 2 days.
That's not high-tech. That's high-techs.
Yeah, good point.
That is awesome.
Driven foul by Kemp as the home second gets started. Quickly for Matt, it's 0-2. Matt hit about 900 feet worth of fly balls last night, and he was able to get one of them over the boards in the 8th inning. He swung the bat very well last night. Matt now with 19 homers since the break.
Yeah, he was about 8 to 10 feet combined away from having a 3 home run night.
.35 and 108 for Matt Kemp, who's hit Zimmerman hard. He's got a couple of career homers against him, but not this time. He's down on strikes. First for Zimmerman, and 1 man down.
Well, both guys look sharp so far. 3 fly ball outs in the first inning for Atlanta. A little better contact than what the Tigers have put up so far, but I'm really impressed with what Aaron's doing here in the first 2 innings.
You always want your last start to be a good one. Carry that into the offseason.
Yes, you do.
As Nick Markakis bats for the first time, he's 0 for 3 in the series, and that's upstairs, ball 1.
Zimmerman's fastball is typically 90 to 93. That pitch was 92. That's got to make Rich Doobie feel pretty good over there watching him tonight, knowing he's able to cut it loose.
Ground ball to Kinsler, an excellent defender as well as a hitter, and he makes the play for the second out.
Yeah, only 9 errors for him at second base. Iglesias has only made 5 at shortstop. Cabrera 7 at first. Number 2 in the American League as a unit.
2 up, 2 down. Here's Anthony Recker riding a 4-game hit streak, 5 hits in that 4-game stretch. Braves called him up in mid-July, and Recker has done an excellent job.
Sure has. He had a good month of September. Hit 306. Fastball, slider are the 2 primary pitches for Zimmerman. He'll throw a curveball in there once in a while too, and a changeup. But he's a bulldog.
Fly ball to right. Martinez has been busy, and he'll make that catch, and it's an easy frame for Zimmerman. He's gotten 6 outs on 14 pitches, and we head to the 3rd already. Third inning now. Can't do any better than Aaron Blair has done. He's already tied his career high in strikeouts with 5, including the side last inning.
Yeah, and a little bit of everything. Breaking ball there to Martinez. Little two-seam sinker to Justin Upton down and away. And then finish the inning with another breaking ball. And I think what is going to allow him to continue to do that is his fastball location. If they respect the fact that he can locate that fastball, particularly down and away, it makes it hard for them to eliminate a pitch. It makes it hard for them to sit away and think and distinguish between the fastball and the slider. And that's why you're seeing them chase some of those breaking balls.
So in the Tigers' third, Jared Saltalamacchia will lead things off. Jared, a former Brave. I recall he was in the big Mark Teixeira trade back in 2007. Salty's played with the Rangers, the Red Sox, the Marlins, Arizona, and now the Tigers. Two balls, no strikes.
I don't have to tell you, Tom, that a little success really breeds a lot of confidence for a young pitcher like Aaron, who's struggled so much this summer. He's got to be feeling pretty good right now.
Well, yeah, no question. I mean, look, if nothing else, the rest of this game, take these first 2 innings, take them home with you, put it on video and watch it, because it shows you what you're capable of doing when you execute and locate pitches. I like the change that they've made with his delivery, eliminate a little bit of movement, make it a little bit easier to get your timing and be on time more often.
But there's the first Tiger base runner. Jared Saltalamacchia walks. And Jose Iglesias is coming up. .14 hits in the last 15 games for the Tigers shortstop. He's batting .250 for the year. Popped him up. And Dansby drifts back. He's underneath and has it. And there's the first out. And Jordan Zimmerman, the Tiger pitcher, will come to the plate.
Another great crowd tonight. Lower bowl pretty much packed all the way around. Only another 40,000 plus in attendance. Tomorrow, sold out. Standing room, sold out.
Our final Turner Field game tomorrow. First pitch at 3:10. As Zimmerman fouls that away. Strike one. It'll be a day filled with pomp and circumstance. A lot of Braves alumni will be here. We'll have a special Braves Live pregame and postgame show, including the ceremonial transport of home plate to SunTrust Park after the game. So you want to stay tuned to Fox for that if you're not coming to the game. No balls and a strike for Zimmerman. And now 0-2.
1 for 4 on the year. But in the American League, not too many opportunities to practice that bunting that he was pretty good at when he was with the Nationals.
.43 sacrifice hits over in Washington. Out of Auburndale, Wisconsin. Tigers signed him through the 2020 season. And he got it down with 2 strikes and deadened it beautifully. So a perfect sacrifice. Saltalamacchia in scoring position. Now Kinsler's coming up.
Didn't flinch on that slider either.
Yeah, I like the idea of the breaking ball, certainly there with 2 strikes, but hung it a little bit. But had that down and away finish that he's thrown to some of the hitters, I think that would have been a tough one to lay off.
So Blair makes his second trip through the Tiger lineup now. We'll see if he can have similar results Kinsler struck out to start the game. And had to duck underneath that pitch. And Recker right there said, hey, it's just a mistake, obviously. One-0 count. Line toward left and headed for the corner. Saltalamacchia scores and Kinsler gets his measure of revenge. A 2-out run scoring hit, and the Tigers take a third inning lead.
$83 RBIs out of the leadoff spot. Was this another hanging breaking ball? Well, not so much a hanger, but it was out over the plate. Yeah, it was 3 bad breaking balls in a row.
Yeah, and that's part of what you're going to have to guard against now, second time through the lineup. First time through, you know, maybe there's some unfamiliarity, you get away with some things. Second time through, now that they've seen you, you have to fight the tendency that we talk about all the time of trying to be even better. Just keep doing what you're doing, keep finishing your pitches, and you'll have success.
Swing and a miss by Maben. Strike one. Oh, and 2.
A couple of good fastballs there, but those wayward fastballs to Saltalamacchia led to this inning. The 5-pitch walk.
Good try, but it missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Awkward swing by Maben, and he's going to roll out to first, and that's going to retire the side. The Tigers cash in a leadoff walk courtesy of Ian Kinsler's RBI hit. Nothing lead as we head to the bottom of our third inning. And don't forget to join us tomorrow on our Braves Live postgame show. We will bid farewell to the 10. We'll have our Braves Country Parade of States. Henry Aaron delivers Turner Field's home plate to SunTrust Park. Bobby Cox and John Smoltz will have speeches from the field. And our guest in the booth, the birthday boy, John Sherholtz, will lead us in one last final Turner Field chop.
It's what Vice Chairman, 76-year-old Vice Chairman do.
Spirit of 76.
I've got a lot of experience in the chop, so good choice.
Well, happy birthday, first of all.
Thank you. Thank you.
And your thoughts as here we are, 2 left at Turner Field.
Yeah, it's I look back at the great memories of the guy sitting next to me and the great run we had with pitchers and players of Tommy's caliber, and the great successes we've had here for a long continual run of excellence, which was a manifestation of what had started early when Bobby and the guys were building this organization back, bringing guys like Tommy and the young guys in. And we manifested a good run, a great run, continued it, and we're proud of that. And this place had a big part in it. And so we celebrate that and have fond memories for the days here.
Jace Peterson leads off for the Braves, with the Tigers scoring the first run of the ball game a moment ago. If you had to pick one moment, just one favorite moment, and I know that's hard, but if you had to pick one, what would it be?
Well, that's difficult. The end of the 14 consecutive division championships, which is remarkable and unparalleled and historic. Didn't start here, but it ended here. It was continued here, and it ended here. And the exclamation point at the end of that great run signaled what these guys in this organization, what our great Hall of Fame manager Bobby Cox have done, our scouts, our player development people, and the continuity of excellence that fans relied on and knew they could get that every year. And they filled this place, and they filled Atlanta Fulton County Stadium to the tune of 3+ million people year after year. And I think that would be it, because it speaks to a whole legacy of years of excellence and the guys who wore the uniform during that time.
And John, doesn't it make you feel great to see the Braves last month in September beginning to rekindle those kinds of flames and that kind of excellence with the kind of month that they had, and finish this, shall we call it, final season at Turner Field, final month, we hope, in this rebuilding process, the way things were for so many nights during that 14-year run?
It feels great on a lot of levels. It feels great for the reason you just mentioned, but it also feels great because winning is a heck of a lot more fun than not. And we've come used to that over here, and the last couple of year and a half or so, we've not enjoyed that as much, and it's been a challenge and a struggle. Had to make some very difficult decisions by John Hart and John Coppola in making the tough choices and trading popular players, high-paid players, to get draft choices back, to get players back, to fill our pipeline, like the way this organization and the way the organizations I've been on in my life, Kansas City and Baltimore before that, built and sustained winning efforts consistently, and we're doing that now. And I know that's on the horizon. This is a sort of a foretaste of the feast to come, how these guys are playing and how they're reacting to the circumstances. So that's all good for me.
I've heard Tommy and others, John, say there are some similarities to what is happening here the last 2 months of the season to what they were experiencing when things were beginning to turn around in 89, 90. Things were beginning to show promise for the Braves organization. A lot of similarities.
When I was contemplating accepting this job, I did my due diligence and looked at what Bobby and Paul Snyder and the scouts and all were doing in their player development system, and the pipeline filled with players the caliber of Tommy Glavine and guys of his ilk. And I said, well, I'd be a fool not to be interested in that. And I wasn't a fool, and I took the job, and 26 years later, it's been a lot of fun.
Speaking of pipelines that are filling with good players, how about the month this young man's had, Dansby Swanson? And on cue, a line drive to left field. He's thinking about 2. Helmet flying. He's on his way. He'll slide in head first with a hustle double.
He plays, in my opinion, he plays beyond his years, beyond his experience in professional baseball. He's got a baseball clock, instincts for the game, comfort with the game, comfort with his own skin and his own skill set, and he's confident that he can make that play. And make a team that he's playing on be better, and we're seeing that. I mean, this guy's really quite a remarkable young player.
Yeah, I think the way he's been described so much, which I love, is he may not have the best tool or tools. He's just a good baseball player.
Zimmerman took a look at third and makes the smart play to first for the second out. Good sacrifice for Blair. And now Ender Inciarte's got a chance to tie the game with a 2-out hit.
Tommy, I think you're right. I mean, I saw scouting reports and a few videos and all of that. And of course, his first pitch in professional baseball, he got hit in the face in an inter-squad game by one of his teammates, and he lost a lot of time. But he's a tough guy, and he knows how to play the game, and he plays with confidence and certainty, and I think he makes the guys around him, these veterans that have been here for a long time, feel pretty good about having this kid in the game at shortstop.
I agree with that. You get a real strong sense that they don't feel like they're having to cover for him at all in any part of the game. Brian Snitker's done a good job too, John.
He has.
I know there's decisions to be made on that coming up too. Do
Yep.
you foresee a long search, or is it going to be something that happens pretty quick?
I don't know how long or short it will be, Joe. I know that John Hart and John Coppola will do their due diligence well, and they'll give everybody deserving of an opportunity or consideration as they should. Brian, of course, will be on that list and has been on that list and is on that list, and he knows that, and so he's done a fine job for us. He's stabilized the place, and players have played better as a result.
John, happy birthday.
Thank you, Jim.
And can't wait to see you at SunTrust Park. Can't wait to hear your speech tomorrow. And oh, by the way, good luck pulling down the effort tonight.
Yeah, I gotta get my ups working to get on top of that too.
Nothing as we head into the fourth inning, and you heard the guys in the booth just talking about the managerial search that's going to begin. Brian Snitker, obviously a very big name in that. The players have been very vocal that this is somebody who they want to have back. I was talking to Brian Snitker about it earlier, and he made a joke. This was his first job interview he's ever had just this past week for this full-time job. But he says it's hard not to pull for these guys. And he realized about a month ago that this is something that he's passionate about and would love to continue to do. He says you have to admire the way these guys work for you. They turn the page and they play the game. And like I said, all of the guys have been very vocal in their support for Brian Snitker. And we wish all of the candidates the best of luck in this search.
Yeah, it's a good point, Kelsey. In fact, Bo Porter, Terry Pendleton, and Eddie Perez all had their interviews with the Braves front office yesterday. I'm not sure exactly when Brian Snitker had his interview. But the Braves are doing their due diligence, as they should. And I agree with Kelsey, guys. Brian Snitker came in a very difficult situation. Remember, he was here well before the Matt Kemp trade. And Brian had to get things stabilized. And put together a lineup that he'd be the first to admit had a lot of parts that didn't fit together very well.
He had one spot he could ride in every day.
Freddie Freeman.
That's it.
And remember, he was hurt for a lot of that time.
And the rest of it, he was just searching for something that was going to work and fit together, and it was hard to do. And Inciarte, for a large part of the season, was batting down in the order. And when he moved to the leadoff spot, that also triggered some offense.
And so when you look at the bottom line, and this is, of course, a bottom line business, Brian Snitker, 57 and 65. Since taking over Freddie Gonzalez, and Miguel Cabrera is retired for the second time. That's 6 strikeouts for Aaron Blair and a good start to his 4th inning.
Threw him a first pitch breaking ball in the same spot, got him to swing and miss, and went back for the strikeout.
Yeah, he's throwing a couple different style breaking balls that I think has these Tigers hitters a little off balance. But you know, I think going back to the managerial thing, and I went through a couple of those as players, and you know, I think at the time and where the Braves were and everything that was going on, I think Brian was the perfect guy. You know, he'd been in the organization, knew a lot of these guys having come through Gwinnett, and his demeanor is perfect. You know, he reminds me a lot of Bobby in the sense that there's a calmness about him that, you know what, guys, let's just go out there, let's do our thing, let's go about our business, let's do it the right way. And I think this team needed that at that time. And then lo and behold, and maybe a little bit to Brian's surprise too, now you're at the stage where it's like, wait a minute, I can do this, you know. And I don't know if Brian really gave it much thought beyond being an interim manager when he first got here, but he has to be thinking to himself now, you know what, I can do this.
And have an influence on how on the success and day-to-day way this team goes about its business. That's what I like. I think he's had a big influence on it.
1 ball, 2 strikes for J.D. Martinez. He didn't get it. He's down swinging. That's 7 for Blair. Where has this been all year?
All swinging. Fastball up and in.
Well, again, you go back and look at the Braves record. April and May combined this year. The Braves were 15 and 36 at the start of play on June the 1st. You look at the Braves record August 1st until today, they're 29 and 25. So from June 1st to today, after a 15 and 36 start, the Braves have gone 51 and 57. Popped up. And that's playable for Freddie Freeman, and Blair is breezing. 10 pitches, retires Detroit in the 4th inning. Garcia, Freeman, and Kemp are coming up. A 1-0 Detroit game early. Questions in Turner Field. Where is Gumby? Another asked question is, are the guys in the booth ever going to get a trivia question right again? We're 7-11. We got a chance to win 9 if we can sweep the next 2.
Boy, they're quick to throw that scoreboard up now, aren't they?
Funny how that works. And tonight's trivia question is, what batter did Tom Glavine record the most outs against at Turner Field?
That's not trivia. That's just goofy.
Good Lord.
Well, he doesn't know, Joe. How are we supposed to know?
And he's got a steel trap. Well, he's kind of, well, he doesn't remember.
I don't remember.
1 ball, no strikes for Adonis Garcia.
Well, I'm going to stay in the National League East.
Yeah, it's got to be in the East. Somebody I faced all the time.
Wait a minute. Brad Ausmus was 2 for what? 2 for 43 against you?
Yeah, he was, but
that wasn't
some
all
of that
here.
was in Houston.
Line drive into center. There's a base hit for Adonis. That's the second Braves hit of the game. First leadoff man to reach, and the right guys are coming up to change this score quickly.
Who'd you have the most success against? Watch this ball slice.
You mean team-wise?
In the East, yeah.
Marlins? No. Well, at least not down there. I couldn't win down there. Probably the Mets would be my guess. Although for the first few years we were in the West, so
yeah, it's true. Were we here? Were we in the
No,
West
that's
here?
right. We were not. That was realignment. You're right.
So if you're thinking Mets, I'm going to go with what you're saying with like the Mets. So I'm thinking like Robin Ventura.
Yeah, it'd have to be somebody
Ray
there.
Ordonez
who was there a while. Yeah.
Would it be great if the answer was Smoltz?
That's even a difficult question to find the answer to.
Yeah.
2 balls, no strikes. And way outside for Freeman. 3-0. This is a dangerous pitch from Zimmerman. Rich Dubie's the Tigers pitching coach. Let's see what Detroit comes up with here. And he did swing 3-0. And it's bounced into the seats foul. 3 balls and a strike. Full count. How'd you do against Barry Bonds?
I think okay. I mean, relatively speaking, you know, I mean, it seemed like everybody hit 300 off me in their career, but
it was a light, soft 300.
Now with 2 strikes, the Tigers employ a shift. Castellanos moves between first and second. As a payoff pitch is coming, runner goes. Freeman corks one toward right center field and deep. Maben back. That ball is gone. Freddie Freeman has hit a 2-run homer.
Chip, you called it corked. It sounded kind of corked. It didn't sound good because the pitch was so low. Now, a couple of pitches ago, he was trying to remind himself to stay inside the baseball, inside out. Bingo. Down, but allowed him to get his arms extended.
34 homers, 90 RBIs now for Freeman, and the Braves have taken a 2-1 lead.
You know, you get to see, obviously we get to see Freddie a lot, but I'm amazed at not only some of the balls he puts in play, but how hard he hits some of the balls that he puts in play. I mean, he's a guy that you would look at and talk about being a good bad ball hitter. You know, where it's just a pitch that's not in the strike zone, and somehow he finds a way to just mash it.
So Freeman now with 18 homers since the break, 83 extra base hits on the year, 4 away from Chipper's all-time Atlanta record for extra base hits in a season.
I'm going to have Matt Dias go buy some lottery tickets for me. Also, he said before the game he thought since Freddie didn't have a home run off Zimmerman, he would hit one tonight.
Well, he's now 10 for 27 against him in his career. And the Braves now lead 2-1. Boston and Toronto tied 2-2. Yankees 7, Baltimore 3. Seattle plays at home against Oakland later on. The Mariners are a half game behind the Tigers in the AL wildcard race. It's going to be a wild night, a wild weekend, and maybe a wild start to the week next week. Kemp walks. So a single, a homer, and a base on balls. And the Tigers, Gene Lamont may be speaking with someone in the bullpen. The Detroit Ball Club does not have the luxury of allowing their starter to work through any of these problems. It'll be quick hooks if needed.
You know who the first draft choice was when the draft was originated that the Detroit Tigers took in 1965? Gene Lamont.
Is that right?
Was their first round draft pick. Didn't know that until last night myself. Former big league manager and longtime bench coach for a lot of good managers. Including Jim Leyland.
Nick Markakis was retired on a nice play by Kinsler in the second inning. 2 in, 1 on, nobody out. And up and away. Zimmerman began the year about as well as you can begin a season. He was the American League Pitcher of the Month in April. He went 5-0, allowed 2 earned runs in his first 33 innings pitched. He's 4-6 since. And that one's hammered down the line and into the seats.
You know, Alex Wilson down there in their bullpen may want to accelerate his warm-ups. Home run ball for that young man. .90 RBIs now for Freddie.
Miguel Cabrera, one of the hitting stars for the Tigers last night. He's their first baseman. The Braves' first baseman, Freddie Freeman, puts Atlanta in front in game 2 tonight. Pitch is boxed by Saltalamacchia. Nice stop. 3-1 the count.
May 1. Braves are playing the Cubs at Wrigley, and Freddie Freeman was hitting .259 with 7 RBIs. That was their 24th game. I don't think we would have guessed that he would get to 90 at that point.
I don't think Freddie would have guessed he would have done that. No. He was very critical of his play in the first 5-6 weeks. As Nick pops this one up, and Ian Kinsler at second base will put that away for the first out.
In fact, he still had 7 RBIs going into the game on May 7th. That's when he got his 8th.
The kind of finish he's having, I am almost certain Freddie Freeman is going to get some MVP votes in the National League. And he'll deserve every one of them. He's had a great second half. Here's Anthony Recker. He flied out to right back in the Braves second. Atlanta trying to win their 950th game all time in Turner Field. And their first home victory against an American League team this year in interleague play. Even count.
Good front door slider there. Odd number for Zimmerman. Especially the way we've seen him pitch against Atlanta in his career, and a 2.06 ERA in his career in this ballpark.
Recker ahead in the count, 2-1. Off the plate. 3 balls and a strike. Zimmerman went 3 innings in his last appearance, 4 hits and a run against Kansas City. He's got 1 out in the bottom of the 4th tonight. And Recker takes a walk. First and second, 1 out.
If he's not, best case scenario for Detroit, they win out, they get in the postseason, they win the wild card, now they're in a division series. Obviously Verlander will be your guy. He would have been number 2, but at least they've got some options based on the way some of their young pitchers have worked here late in the season, including Norris, who we saw last night, who was outstanding.
Yeah, Fulmer and Boyd, the other 2 youngsters who've done a good job. Fulmer's won 11 games. And if the Tigers have to play Cleveland in that makeup game on Monday, it'll be the rookie Fulmer who's going to get the ball in that ball game, which would be obviously a must-win for the Tigers.
That's a playoff game.
Yeah, right.
How you like those tomahawks tonight?
I like them.
Nice ceremony before the game for breast cancer awareness. Great stuff.
Chase Peterson, 2 on, 1 out. And an outside corner strike. Oh, I like the way Vic Carapazza calls strikes. Lets you know right away with an emphatic point. Driven foul left side, and into this big crowd at Turner Field. As Joe mentioned, the lower bowl virtually filled tonight. And tomorrow's 3:10 start, complete total sellout. The final game here at Turner Field. Braves have a real good shot of going over 2 million in attendance again this year. The pitch. is inside 1-2. Braves need to draw about 72,000 today and tomorrow combined to get over the 2 million mark.
I think they'll do it. I mean, if that's a sellout tomorrow, that's going to be close to 50,000, if not more.
Yeah, over 50,000.
So I'm almost certain that we've got more than 20 tonight.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be something very appreciated in a season where times were really tough the first 4.5 months. Braves tonight try to earn their 30th home victory and their 67th win. So it is appreciated. Great fans of Braves country turned out, and they're here for the final weekend with our bitter rivals, the Detroit Tigers.
It's becoming that way, the way they've handled the Braves.
Ground ball toward Castellanos. He's going to go to second one, and that's all they get. Nice job by Kinsler to dig that ball out. Recker was barreling in at second base. And Atlanta has men at the corners now with 2 outs. And Dansby Swanson, the 8th place hitter, coming to the plate. And these are Dansby's current numbers on our Home Depot tools from the dugout over the last 12 he's played.
Just outstanding. He's now hit in 4 straight games. His average is over 300 for his total time here.
Now, an interesting mini controversy, I guess. Dansby Swanson is 7 at-bats shy coming into play tonight of losing his rookie eligibility for next season. That's at-bats, not plate appearances.
Coming into tonight, it was 7.
7. He's doubled tonight in his first trip to the plate. Braves have made no secret. They want to win as many games as they can, irrespective of the individual opportunity for Swanson to remain a rookie for 2017. We'll see how it plays out.
Well, I got to admit, I thought he was well beyond that demarcation for next year, so I'm surprised that he still has some room.
And they're not going to give him anything to hit
No.
here, I wouldn't think.
No.
And this was a point that John Schuerholz was making a little while ago. There's a young man that's in his rookie season, knows the game situation.
Mark Miller, our director, showing us that people are still coming into the ballpark.
And that's off the plate. Ball 4. Bases loaded for Blair.
These games are so vitally important to Detroit that every one of them is almost like an elimination game. I'm surprised they didn't just throw up 4 fingers and say go to first.
I think certainly Zimmerman's status as a veteran pitcher played into that a little bit, but he hasn't exactly been sharp.
That was his 35th pitch of this inning.
3 walks.
It's funny though, when you're talking about the schedule and the Tigers early, I think we all looked at the schedule and saw the Tigers the last weekend at Turner Field, and we're kind of like, the Tigers. And now with the way everything's worked out with the playoff scenario, this is pretty fun.
One ball, 1 strike. No place to put Blair. Brad Ausmus rolling the dice to see if Zimmerman can get out of the 4th, allowing just the 2-run homer to Freddie Freeman. Sharply hit. He Iglesias, though, will flip to Kinsler, and that retires the side. A long inning for Jordan Zimmermann. The big blow, Freddie Freeman's 2-run home run on a 3-2 count. He just golfed that baby out for his 34th long ball of the year. The Braves lead by a run. Having a 2016 season for the ages. His best offensive year with the power numbers, the long hitting streak, and he's a new dad.
In watching the replay as we were going to break, I noticed something about the follow-through. Watch how short this follow-through is, almost like just a 3/4 swing. I'm not even sure the bat got back up over his right shoulder. It was so short, and he stopped it so quick. It was like a guy taking a punch swing in golf without a follow-through, and it still went out of the ballpark. He's pretty good.
Not bad. Pretty good guy.
So Aaron Blair now has the lead in the 5th inning. Castellanos, Saltalamacchia, and Iglesias are coming up. And that pushed him off the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. Castellanos got off the disabled list on Tuesday. Played here last night, went 1 for 5. And he took a strike.
That's just classic sequence right there. Fastball up and in, and then threw a curveball at him and made him freeze.
To third, a sinking line drive, and caught by Adonis at the line. Good play, 1 out.
Boy, that had a little top spin on it. Good thing he was near the line too.
Yep.
I think that's the most improved part of his game.
He might be the most improved player on the squad. I mean, I'd have to go guy by guy, I think, to make that a certainty. But from his first month to where he is now.
Well, clearly it was those 3 games he went down to Gwinnett and played in left field that made him a better third baseman.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it was 3 games, what it was, but that was the plan that didn't work out, and he's made the most of his second opportunity here.
Yeah, I mean, when he was up here early in the year, he had trouble hitting. He couldn't catch anything. He was throwing the ball all over the place. But he's been a very, very pleasant surprise for the Braves. Assault Telemakia rolls out for the second out of the inning. Blair's rolling along. That's 6 straight. He's retired.
And the story goes supposedly that when he got sent down, he told Freddie Gonzalez that, yeah, I worked on my play at third base all winter. I worked real hard on it. And it was kind of like, well, you're going to need a little more. And he came back playing great.
So here's Iglesias. He popped out his first time up. 2-1 Atlanta the lead. The Tigers struck first with a Kinsler 2-out single. Freddie Freeman brought home Adonis Garcia with a 2-run homer. That's where we stand. He had a little low, ball 1.
Good pitch.
A lot of flinching going on from these Tigers hitters. And Aaron Blair has been incredibly efficient, as we've seen him make starts where he's had 56 pitches in the second inning. He's got 57 pitches with 2 outs in the 5th. In fact, that was the case for Aaron last time out against the Marlins. He threw 80 pitches in 3 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs against Miami.
And he hasn't thrown more than 5 pitches to any one batter tonight.
And here's his 5th to the Tigers shortstop, who shows bunt and lays down a beauty. Garcia with a bare hand can't make the play. And Iglesias with a 2-out bunt single keeps the inning alive.
Now that's an interesting strategy. 2 outs and a 3-1 count, and he drops a bunt down.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't see too many bunts on a 3-1 count.
No. Now, I'll give him cut him some slack, because he probably knew they were going to pinch hit for Zimmerman, so it would give him a chance to perhaps steal a base and get him scoring position for the pinch hitter.
And the pinch hitter, Stephen Moya, a 6'6", 229-pound outfielder. He's 25 years old. He had 20 homers with Toledo in 97 games and had a .501 slugging percentage in the International League.
How tall did you say he was?
6'6", 229.
Yeah, given this is Saturday, I thought you were going to say he's a 6'6", 229 tight end.
It looks like
out
he
of
could be
Paducah, Kentucky.
I wish he was a 6'6" defensive back who was playing in Athens, Georgia today. That's all I can tell you. But that's a story for another time. Runner at first, 2 outs. As Zimmerman's night is complete. 4 innings, couple of runs, 3 walks. The Freeman homer, the big blow. He only struck out 1 man. He's not the same Jordan Zimmerman we've seen before. Excuse me, 2 strikeouts for Zimmerman. One 1-0 for Moya. And that's out of play, foul, even count.
Guy's got some long legs too, doesn't he? Boy, how old is he?
25. Just turned 25 August 9th.
Picks up a lot of the box.
Last year was his first year at Toledo. He played 126 games at AAA, hit 20 homers. Two balls, 1 strike. Bouncer foul. Past Omar Vizquel, who thought about making a bare hand play. And he would have made it. So the 5th pitch coming from Moya with 2 outs. And instead to first.
I'll never forget Omar Vizquel's play on the field drew attention to him easily. In 1995 in the World Series, when the Braves were in Cleveland to play the Tribe, they had a reception for both teams, private reception at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You remember that?
No.
Outstanding event. Nice evening. He had on the brightest canary yellow sport coat I've ever seen in my life. Little O.
Runner goes. 3-2 pitch. Caught on and missed. And Moya is down on strikes. And Aaron Blair is dazzling tonight. That is his 8th strikeout. And he's protecting a 2-1 lead.
To 1 as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning, and we've been telling you it is a tight AL wildcard race going on right now. So let's check out some of those games heading out to New York. The Yankees hosting the Orioles. They began the day up leading by 1 game. Bottom of the 8th, tied ball game, and Austin Romine 2 RBI single to left. That make it 5-3 Yankees, and they would go on to win that one 7-3. So New York definitely helping out the Tigers tonight. The Tigers sitting currently at this moment half a game back from that 2nd wild card spot.
All right, Kelsey, thank you very much. Tigers are trailing 2-1, bottom of the 5th inning. This is Alex Wilson, who lives in Hurricane, West Virginia. He was originally a 2nd-round pick of the Red Sox. The Tigers got him with Yoenis Cespedes for Rick Porcello after the 2014 season. And here's an interesting note. I'm not sure how many major league players can say this. Alex Wilson was born in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia.
And went from there to Hurricane, West Virginia.
Right?
Wow. He's got a good fastball. Throws a lot of cutters, fastball in the low 90s, but mostly fastball cutter.
Started his college career at Winthrop University, then finished up at Texas A&M. So the top of the order trying to extend a Braves lead here in the 5th. Atlanta has won 4 straight series. After losing last night, they hope to split the first two and then send Julio Teheran to the hill against Justin Verlander in the final game of the year tomorrow. And that's off the plate for Inciarte, 3-0. Popped him up on a 3-1 count. Who wants it? It's going to be Kinsler taking over. And there's the first out. Nice comeback for Wilson. One away.
Texas Rangers clinched the home field advantage throughout last night. That means they will play the wild card winner, depending on who and when that is all settled.
That could be Wednesday, could be Saturday.
But since the American League won the All-Star game again, that means Texas, if they kept advancing, would host the World Series to start it if they make it that far.
0-1 for Adonis Garcia. And a bouncing ball to Castellanos. Tricky hop, but he stayed with it. And there's the second out.
I know Boston's been getting a lot of headlines with their great play here late, and rightfully so, but I'm being told that Texas is a really good team, and they arguably made the most improvement at the All-Star break with the changes they made, getting Jonathan Lucroy, Carlos Beltran, and then getting Matt Bush, signing him too.
Well, here's tonight's hitting hero, Freddie Freeman. A 2-run homer last time up. Our Toyota key play.
Just went down and got a slider. Typical Freddie fashion, golfing it out. That young man got a souvenir on the next to last game ever played here.
No balls and a strike. Well, we know Michael Tucker's the first man to hit a home run here. Who will be the last? At the moment, the answer to that question is the man on your screen, Freddie Freeman. Good pitch. There's one other major leaguer in history who's been born in Saudi Arabia. Craig Stansberry, who played a couple of years, 2007, 2008, and 2009. He too born in, beg your pardon, he was born in Dammam, Saudi Arabia. And that takes care of Freddie Freeman. 3 up and 3 down. Top of the order coming up for the Tigers. We go to the 6th. in front by a 2-1 score, and John Schuerholz, Braves vice chairman and the architect of so many great Braves teams here, the honor of pulling down number 2 on his 76th birthday tonight.
It's a great thing.
Yeah, hard to believe. 1 to go.
1 to go.
Did you notice that Mr. Schuerholz got no instruction on how to wave, how to peel the number down?
I don't believe that.
There's not a chance he didn't get any instruction.
There was, if there wasn't any down there in left field, there was a debriefing in his booth.
Oh, that's a good point. As Ian Kinsler leads off inning number 6. Kinsler has the Tigers RBI, a single last time up. But Aaron Blair just has mesmerized them guys with a dazzling array of off-speed stuff all night long. 8 strikeouts for him.
Done a good job locating his fastball in and out, breaking ball in, out, up, down a little bit, changing speeds on that. It's been fun to watch.
That's golfed foul, and Kinsler will face another 1-2 pitch. Boston and Toronto still tied at 2 in the 4th inning. The Yankees already beat Baltimore, as Kelsey told us. 7-3 was that final at Yankee Stadium. Popped up. Shallow center, playable for Inciarte. He'll make the catch. There's out number 1.
I believe Jay Happ was pitching for Toronto today too. Tonight.
That is the case. Boston won last night. David Ortiz hit a 2-run homer in the 7th inning to pace the Red Sox. And tonight Jay Happ is in a 2-2 ball game at the Fens. Maven takes a strike. Again, lots of off-speed stuff. And that sliced out of play. Is Jay Happ, is he 22 wins?
I think so.
For Toronto. I know Porcello's got 24, I believe, for the Red Sox.
Tell you shortly. Had TBA in here.
Swing and a miss. Maven's down swinging. That's 9 strikeouts for Aaron Blair.
And again, all swinging. What was this, Tommy?
Looked like a changeup.
Yeah. Absolutely was.
Yeah.
Spot.
That was way off in the win totals. Porcello's got 22. Happ's got 20 wins. Those 2 men lead the American League in wins. Here's Cabrera. Inside pitch. He didn't get it. Tried to ambush it. Strike 1.
Tommy, your command with your changeup was so good. Did you have a target on the outside or inside corner that you were trying to play off of? Just a little off this, a little off that?
Yeah, I mean, when I was throwing it, if I was assuming a right-handed hitter, when I was throwing it to a right-handed hitter, I wanted my catcher set up on the outside corner, and I was trying to hit him in his foot on his glove hand, on his throwing hand. So I was trying to finish it down out of the zone. If it was inside, I was just trying to keep it inside that, or inside the line, inside that little alley there between the corner of home plate and the white line on the batter's box. That was kind of where I was wanting it to go and stay in there. I didn't want it to finish and leak back over the plate.
One-two pitch. Sharply hit up the middle. And Cabrera with a look back at Anthony Recker as he made his way to first base. What was that all about?
There's no telling. They probably had an ongoing conversation about trying to get him out somehow. But that fastball mislocation.
Yeah, one of the few that he's elevated.
So 2,517 hits now for Miguel Cabrera, the 4th fastest to 2,500 hits in the history of the game. And he's aboard for J.D. Martinez, who has struck out twice. J.D. had a big breakout year last year in Detroit. This young man, who was signed as a minor league free agent in 2014, hit .282 last year, scored 93 runs, hit 38 homers, and drove in 102.
Well, look what he did for Detroit in 14, because he had been released, DFA'd, something like that with Houston. They had more or less said, well, kind of given up on him. But he was a friend of Alex Avila, the catcher for the Tigers. They played together in high school or summer ball. So the Avila family knew him and said, well, they knew he was a good kid. Let's give him a chance. So they signed him and sent him to Toledo. And what did he do when he got called up?
In 2014, he hit 23 homers and drove in 76.
Yeah.
So 83 homers for J.D. Martinez in 3 years in a gigantic ballpark, and he was there for everybody to take if they wanted. So the Tigers really struck gold. Swing and a miss. Full count.
It's just one of those things where you think, what didn't Houston see? I mean, how bad was he that they would just say, okay, we don't even want you in the organization anymore, or we see no future in this organization.
Full count pitch. Runner Cabrera goes, swing and a miss. He didn't get the fastball. Aaron Blair is pitching backwards, and he's pitching beautifully. He's got 10 strikeouts of the high and mighty Detroit Tigers tonight, and he leads 2-1 after 5.5 innings. Game of his life tonight. He has struck out 10 Tigers, and he's our Synovus Greatness Made Here feature.
I like that he's done it with so many different pitches tonight.
Yeah. I mean, he's mixed everything and had good command and been.
Kemp strokes one to center. Maben to the warning track. And that's the 4th ball like that off the bat of Matt Kemp in this series. One of them left the ballpark.
That was pretty funny right there. We're watching those replays of Aaron, and then in sync, here comes the pitch from Wilson. And I was like, oh, that wasn't him. I didn't realize we'd gone live. Great night.
And with all due respect to Aaron Blair, ain't nobody in Major League Baseball expected that tonight.
No, including him, probably.
Blair came in with a 1-7, 8.02 earned run average.
Little sign of things to come was that first inning.
Struck out Kinsler and Maben back-to-back. Cabrera flied out, then Aaron struck out the side in the 2nd inning. So 5 of his first 6 outs were punch outs, and as Joe's mentioned a couple of times, all 10 strikeouts swinging. One ball, 1 strike for Nick Markakis. Driven down the right field line. Did he get enough? Yes, he did. Nick Markakis with a solo homer.
Cutter, and Nick was ready for it. Hands inside, ball jumped. He's got 89 RBIs.
Yeah, Cutter just kind of stayed there. That's why I was able to keep it fair.
That extends the lead for Aaron to 3-1. First homer for Nick Markakis since September 14th, and it came against Jose Fernandez. Anthony Recker, the batter, had a big cut, didn't get it. Nick Markakis last season, his first year back from neck surgery, hit 3 homers for the Braves. He drove in 53. 13 homers, 89 RBIs now. Probably another at bat in this game, plus tomorrow's action to add to those totals.
You can go through and find a lot of guys with 20 or more homers that don't have anywhere near 89 RBIs.
That got a piece of salt to Lamacchia on the ricochet. It's 2-2.
Nick Anthony was trying to maybe sell that he got hit with a pitch. Jared certainly did. Definitely got the bat.
Full count. Bouncing ball to Iglesias at short. He's got it. And there's the second out. I wonder if Nick was talking with Kevin Seitz or Joe about that rope drill that you talked about a couple of times a couple of weeks ago.
I don't know. I just find it really amusing. Even the best of hitters like Nick, you know, they put one in the seats and they kind of want to sidle up to the hitting coach and like, yeah, you know, I had my hands right where you told me, or yeah, you're right. If I could just get here, I'm okay. And it's all smiles because of the results. Ryan Klesko was classic.
Oh, he was the best at that. Yeah.
One ball, no strikes. 3-1 Atlanta. That one all the way to the backstop. 2-0.
Jared just looked it up for me. Wow. 68 players with 20 or more homers and fewer than 89 RBIs.
Wow.
6'8". Golly.
2-0 pitch. That's to second. Kinsler's got it. And the Braves add on with a Nick Markakis solo home run, his 13th of the season. And it's getting late for the Tigers. We're off to the 7th inning. Braves spoiling their night so far. It's 3-1 Atlanta in front. T-Mobile, greater coverage of baseball. Let's see if we can clear up the wild card and playoff races for you on this next to last night of regular season play.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, you're the man in charge. Go for it, buddy.
Well, we know the Mets are in. They've clinched the wild card home field, so now it's up to the Cardinals and Giants, who both won today, to decide who's going to be the one to play the Mets. The Yankees beat the Orioles to throw a little wrench into the Orioles' plans. They thought they could kind of waltz in. They're not going to be able to. So Detroit, under the gun here. They're down by 2, and they've got to win. It's getting late.
Justin Upton leads off the 7th. He is struck out and popped out, and that one skips up there. Ball 1. Jordan Zimmerman started. 4 innings of 3-hit 2-run ball. Alex Wilson, the native of Hurricane, West Virginia, not Hurricane, I'm told.
Hurricane
is how it's pronounced. Gave up the Markakis solo homer. And there's a shot off the bat of Upton. That's a tape measure job, and the Tigers are on the board again. That man is some kind of hot. It's 3-2 now.
Scorching. That wasn't a high towering home run. That was just a BB.
And he paused to admire it. Why not? So Justin Upton's 31st homer, his 18th since August 21st, will end the night for Aaron Blair, who had himself a great game. 10 strikeouts, 2 runs in 6+ innings, and this big crowd in Atlanta applauds the big man in his final start in 2016. 3-2 now your score. 7th inning continues after the break. Justin Upton for the Tigers just hit a long home run to pull Detroit to within a 3-2 score. And it's time for our Toyota Tweet of the Week. Our question this week is, what's the greatest moment in Turner Field history? Tweet us at Fox Sports South using hashtag TFMemories, and your answer could be read during the Braves Live post-game show. Jose Ramirez checks in. He's got Castellanos up there, and Nick flies out of play. A first pitch strike as we've reached 9 o'clock in Atlanta.
Well, after 10 strikeouts, they're probably glad to see anyone in there except Aaron Blair. But if they are glad, they better ramp up the bat speed with this guy.
They could turn it up a notch if they're looking fastballs off of him.
That's back to the screen. It's 0-2. Braves bullpen has been outstanding in September. In fact, Justin Upton's home run late last night snapped a very impressive streak. That was the first homer allowed by the Braves bullpen in over 62 innings. And Ramirez, part of a Braves relief corps that in the month of September won 8 games, saved 8 games, and pitched to a .284 ERA. Far and away their best run of work. And incidentally, their most innings pitched of any calendar month. And Castellanos is down on strikes. Good start for Ramirez, 1 away. So looking ahead to next year for the Braves, guys, I think it's safe to say the Braves feel pretty good about the way that their bullpen lines up as it's put together right now.
No, I think there's no question their bullpen is in pretty good shape. I think the biggest thing, and I know we talked about it there in July and August, is the workload. And you got to find a way to get some starting pitchers to get deeper into the ball games more consistently and take a large part of that workload off of these guys.
High fly ball by Saltalamacchia, but he got under it. 2 outs. And your points well taken, Tom. The last 2 months, August and September, the Braves relief corps worked about 204 innings.
That's a lot. And I think the experience these guys have gotten under less than pressure packed situations because of the record is going to make them that much better when they find themselves in games where they really need to nail things down next year.
2 outs for Iglesias. Strike call.
I love this guy's arm angle. Naturally, you love his power arm. And for the most part, he throws strikes. He has nights where he's like anybody else. He has a little trouble finding the zone, but that arm angle is mighty tough on right-handers.
Ramirez spent time with 3 different organizations: the Yankees, Seattle, and then the Braves traded Ryan Harper to the Mariners in December of last year for Jose Altagracia Ramirez. Into the seats, 0-2.
Getting ready.
He's getting ready for the stretch. Pitch low. 1-2. Had Timothy and his lovely wife and 2 children before the game last night. What a beautiful family. And that man has a beautiful voice. 1-2 count. And a little squibber hit toward Dansby. He's got it. He's going to throw out Iglesias, and Ramirez works a perfect 7th inning. Justin Upton hits a leadoff home run off Aaron Blair. That makes it a 3-2 score. And indeed, it is time for the 7th inning stretch. One more opportunity for Timothy Miller to join us at the center of the diamond here in Atlanta for his rendition of God Bless America. Might be his 2nd biggest crowd to sing before at Turner Field here in 2016. This crowd's seen a great game. They're going to hear a great rendition coming up here in Atlanta, Georgia.
In a solemn prayer.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America.
Atlanta has the lead. Time to answer our trivia question on a perfect baseball night here at Turner Field. And tonight's trivia question is, what batter did Tom Glavine record the most outs against at Turner Field?
I'm going to go Jimmy Rollins.
I think that's a good call. I'm going to go with a Met. And I'm going to say, who was the third baseman they had?
Edgardo Alfonso?
Yes, I'm going to go Edgardo Alfonso.
And I'm going to go to a wild card. I'm going to say Craig Biggio. See if either one of us are right.
Wow. Wow.
Bobby Abreu.
I thought he wore me out.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, I had the right team anyway.
Yeah, that should count as a win. Can't wait for tomorrow's question.
Yeah.
As Shane Green takes over for the Tigers, he's their third pitcher of the game. Green's had a tough go of it the last 5 outings, 4 runs in his last 5 1/3 innings.
Mid-90s with a fastball, with a cutter that's in the low 90s, and a slider.
Spent a little time on the DL with some blister problems for the Tigers. And Dansby, a base hit. Another multi-hit game for Dansby Swanson. A double, a walk, and now a 7th inning single.
That was a slider, and it's almost like he knew what was coming. Stayed back. Tried to start it in. He didn't flinch. And laced it.
So Malik Smith is going to hit for Ramirez. Ramirez a perfect inning with a strikeout. Tonight is Dansby Swanson's 37th big league game. He has 39 hits.
Several multi-hit games, doesn't he?
Yeah. The number was .11 multi-hit games. But it's a beauty. It's going to die in the grass, and Malik Smith's aboard with a bunt single.
He's really been working on that. Was really getting comfortable with it when he got hurt. He's tried it several times since he came back, and I believe that's his 2nd bunt hit since he has come back.
Perfectly placed right there. Nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, I was 4th.
You were?
I was 4th on that list of outs recorded by Tom. Abreu 29, Doug Glanville 25, Ray Ordonez 22, and Edgardo Alfonso 21. So close.
Yeah, I forgot about Glanville too. I know I had a little bit of success against him. But
Tomorrow's question will be, how many changeups did Tom Glavine throw?
Ooh. Oh, there you go.
St. Turner Field, right?
I tried that.
Yep.
Got it stuck on me. Us. So these two guys, Wilson and now Green, I mean, it's huge for the Tigers right now with the outcome of their season in terms of just trying to hold the Braves. Wilson gives up a homer, and now the Braves are in good shape to add on to their 1-run lead.
And Ciarte shows bunt, and with nobody out, not a bad idea, but he fouled it straight back. There's another beauty. One play. It's to first. A perfect sacrifice for Ender Inciarte. So this sets up beautifully. Garcia can hit anybody's fastball. Freeman's behind him.
We caught Cabrera kind of looking back at Recker after his base hit. Well, just now after the bunt, National League style, moving runners up late in the ballgame, Cabrera had charged in, got out of the way in foul territory, and he was talking to Garcia before he got to the plate. About what? I'll never know, but it was like he was trying to get in his head a little bit here before he got to the plate.
He fouled off a breaking ball, strike one. Adonis has come up with a lot of big hits for the Braves this year. 9 game winning and 25 2-out RBIs. So he's been clutch. He's singled and scored so far tonight. Bouncing ball through the drawn in infield. That's going to score 2. And the Braves now lead 5-2. And now Cabrera will have a chance to continue that conversation with Adonis Garcia at first base.
That could be a crusher to the Tigers. Slider, not a bad one, but it was up.
Yep.
So National League style baseball spoils the night of Shane Green. He heads for the exits. He faced 4 batters. 2 so far have scored, and the Braves spoiling the Tigers' night. 5-2 your score.
Baseball is sponsored by Delta Airlines, your local Ford dealer, and the Home Depot.
Braves have scored 2 runs so far in the 7th inning. They've done that on 3 singles. And now Kyle Ryan is on for the Tigers, who have had bullpen issues again this year.
3rd most hits per 9 innings. That'll add up to a high ERA.
The Pins given up 3 runs so far tonight. The difference in the game. And Ryan slings one up there for Freeman, who took it. Ball 1.
We saw this guy last night against Inciarte. It's the only guy he faced, and got an easy comebacker hit to him. Academy Sports and Outdoor Leaderboard. Kemp and Freeman in there in the top 5 in homers. Both with homers the last 2 nights.
Freeman a 2-run homer tonight. And a healthy cut, didn't get it. 2-1.
Tom, question. And I'm not saying that I would have done that were I in Brad Ausmus's shoes, but where do you stand on situations like this in a game that's so vitally important to Detroit? You've gotten back within a run. Would you use your closer in a situation before you get to the 9th inning, or somebody that's like a setup guy earlier than usual just to try to get out of that jam?
I might. You know, I might use my closer in the 8th inning. I don't think I'd use him in the 7th inning, but I certainly would think about moving my setup guy or guys that are your 8th inning type guys into a situation like this in the 7th inning for sure.
That's tipped and fouled off Saltalamacchia.
Well, one of those situations where you kind of like, I'll worry about the 8th inning in the 8th.
Right.
But this might be the game right here.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Freeman's retired. Ryan gets a big second out for the Tigers, and now Matt Kemp will hit with Garcia at first base.
Well, this guy's nasty on lefties.
Yeah, the choice of Shane Green a little interesting. Last 5 games, as I mentioned when he came in, he'd been hit pretty hard. Now they had Bruce Rondon available. He's been on a hot streak, but Rondon pitched here last night. He gave up a run. So it seems, just looking at the Tigers notes and looking at the recent stats, guys, it doesn't appear there's really anybody down there that's all that hot. Maybe with the exception of K-Rod, and he's your closer.
There's no sure thing.
Right.
Now Rondon is up.
One ball, no strikes. And I'm not saying that the options are all bad for the Tigers, but when you have nothing but bad options, it doesn't matter what choice you make. It's going to blow up in your face. And here in the 7th, 3 singles have added to the Atlanta lead, 5-2. Fly ball pretty well hit to right. Martinez back is going to have room on the track. And that takes care of Matt Kemp and the Braves. But a terrific inning. Swanson a hit. Malik Smith a bunt hit. And Adonis Garcia a 2-run hit through a drawn-in infield. It's a 3-run game in the 8th.
Atlanta Braves. Playing third base, Chipper Jones.
Hit in the air toward the gap in left center field, and this ball is gone. Hometown hero ties it at 1.
That's our Coors Timeless Moment. We continue to celebrate the top moments in Turner Field history. Chipper Jones had himself quite an all-star game in his hometown.
Yeah, what a great thing. Have a good night. You strike out. Did you pitch a full inning?
I think I did, yeah. I don't even remember, to be honest with you.
Got Jermaine Dye,
yeah,
old teammate.
Yeah.
So now Cabrera comes on for his 41st game. And for the Tigers, go from a rock to a hard place, from Ramirez to this guy.
Mauricio Cabrera to face Eric Ibar, former teammates, and a strike. Yes, Tom, you did pitch a full inning in the 2000 All-Star game.
Yeah.
That's down the right field line, and that's trouble. That's going to bounce up against the fence, and Eric Ibar's on his way to second. And that's a leadoff double for the Tigers. And now the top of their order is coming up in the 8th.
Let me ask you a question here. This guy throws in the upper 90s to 103 miles an hour. He started Ibar with a 90-mile-an-hour pitch. There's no effect there. That's 90 miles an hour. Guys are used to looking for that.
Right.
Then he comes back with a 92-mile-an-hour pitch.
Yeah,
that gets hit. He hasn't done anything to set those pitches up.
No, as far as he knows, that 90-mile-an-hour is a fastball. He hasn't done anything to distinguish between the fastball and the changeup.
Maybe he was just trying to trick an old teammate, thinking he was sitting on 103.
So here's Kinsler. The Tiger fans start to roar. Kinsler has an RBI hit and 3 trips tonight. You lead by 3 late. That makes you feel good. But with all the thunder the Tigers have in this lineup, with nobody out, it's a nervous lead. The Tigers have 43 come from behind wins this year. 43 of their 86. 2 balls, no strikes for Ian Kinsler. Didn't get the call. 3-0. And 4 straight brings the tying run to the plate. And that man is Cameron Maybin, who has struck out twice and has grounded out to first. Ian Kroll and Chaz Rowe have begun to loosen up. Recker out for a visit. 7 pitches for Cabrera, 2 strikes. One of those strikes was the base hit by Ibar.
He's issued a walk now in 4 of his last 5 appearances. And recorded only 1 strikeout in his previous 5 outings. coming into tonight.
The center of that diamond is the loneliest place in Atlanta, despite a 45,000 numbered crowd, because we're a pitch away perhaps from a Rowe Cabrera matchup or a Cabrera matchup. Made him throw a strike.
Gotta make him throw another one too. Unless you just sit dead red in that same spot, middle.
Knowing who's on deck, I think you got to take another one.
Yeah.
Three balls and a strike. He did take, and it's ball four. Look at that Fox tracks. There were two pitches in that sequence that were in the zone, but Mauricio didn't get the call. But when you're wild, you don't get the benefit of the doubt. And now the Braves have a big mess. The Tigers have the bases loaded, nobody out. Miguel Cabrera is coming up, and Chaz Rowe is coming in, with the Braves nursing a 5-2 lead. October drama, and the stage that is the base paths is very busy, and Miguel Cabrera, the brightest star, is coming on for the Tigers with a chance to do serious damage against Braves reliever Chaz Rowe.
All those numbers are really good for Chaz, especially the 82% of first batters faced, and that's vitally important with the bases loaded and nobody out. But the guy at the plate is Miguel Cabrera. The good thing also at the bottom of that chart was that right-handers are just 8 for 56 against Chaz because of that wipeout slider.
Well, he got a steady dose of sliders from Aaron Blair, so you'd figure he's going to see one or two here.
Cabrera has never faced Rowe in a major league game. He's up in a huge spot, and there's the slider, a strike.
Threw the first one at him, made him give up on it. He won't do that again. Cabrera won't do that again.
He did flinch again.
He sure did.
What a pitch.
That was a little further inside.
0-2.
I don't think he was trying to do it, but
yeah, they were set up away.
Listen to the crowd. Good stop.
He will swing. He doesn't want to walk. He wants to get his team back in this ball game. But throw one at the middle of the plate and have that sweeper move off the plate so he can't reach it.
As you saw, he doesn't run well. 26 double plays. Nobody out. And the 1-2 pitch. He struck him out.
What a sequence.
very well executed.
Just beautiful. That is one nasty pitch.
And now another right-handed bat is J.D. Martinez, who's got the hat trick tonight. 3 strikeouts. Can Rowe pitch out of this mess and protect the lead? Hot shot. Dansby dives. Second one. On to first. Double play. What a play by Dansby Swanson.
What a reaction.
A major league rookie. Dansby Swanson just turned in another Dansby dandy. An incredible start to an inning-ending double play.
That ball was hit hard too. Nice turn by Jace. And you think Dansby wasn't fired up?
And even though it took his team out of the inning, you know who appreciated that play? The first base coach of the Detroit Tigers, Omar Vizquel, who did that countless times in his career. And you can just see the shoulder sagging and the air float away from the Detroit Tigers after that play was made. Bases loaded, nobody out. Cabrera and Martinez and Upton coming up, and the Tigers can't score.
Yeah, that's a heartbreaker there. Had the right guys.
A number hit towards short. And the throw to first takes care of Markakis, who homered earlier tonight.
Well, Chaz threw Martinez that slider in that he had thrown to Miguel. And you know Cabrera said something to Martinez on the way by, maybe to look for it on the first pitch, and he did and smoked it, but couldn't get it by him.
Crowd tonight of 40,124. This place turned upside down after that double play in the top of this 8th inning. So here's Recker. He was fired up too. He and Chaz Rowe were doing a chest bump as they made their way to the dugout after the inning ended. And a strike to Anthony.
We haven't heard this ballpark this loud probably all season long, but in a long time, and I loved it because it was on a defensive play. Great job by Chaz, man.
So as the Braves lead here 5-2, again Baltimore lost tonight. The Yankees beat them. Toronto is winning 3-2 in the 7th inning at Fenway Park. So if Toronto holds on, they would tie Baltimore. If this score holds, the most wins the Tigers could get is 88, and that would require them to win tonight tomorrow, and the rained out game that could be made up Monday. One ball, 2 strikes for Anthony Recker, and the pitch taken low. So that roar Joe was talking about, and that loud sound we heard a moment ago, it's going to be even louder, we hope, tomorrow. The final game in Turner Field history tomorrow afternoon. First pitch at 3:10. Julio Teheran versus Justin Verlander. High fly ball toward Upton and left, and Justin has plenty of room, and there's the first out. With only 41,000 seats and a modern cantilever design, SunTrust Park offers maximized sight lines and the ability for fans to sit closer to the action than any other park. More than 10,000 fans have bought their season tickets, and areas of the park are already sold out. Don't delay. Get your SunTrust Park season tickets today by visiting braves.com/SunTrustPark.
Pilar drove in a run for the Blue Jays in the 6th inning to give them the lead.
Jace Peterson, a little roller toward Cabrera. Race to the bag. Wilson got there late. Jace Peterson dives in safely. Infield hit for Peterson.
When you're the runner on a play like that, when you're the batter trying to get there first, when you're watching the first baseman and you see a guy like Cabrera take so much time waiting to toss it, you realize the pitcher's probably in a foot race with you and you got a chance.
What a play by Dansby Swanson, who, by the way, has reached base 3 more times tonight. A 3rd inning double, a 4th inning walk, and he led off the 7th with a single and scored the 4th Braves run. With his 3 trips on base tonight, his on base percentage an impressive .371. And oh, by the way, he's hitting .312. That's the man he robbed. JD Martinez.
Doesn't seem to be a whole lot that riles up Brad Ausmus on the outside. Inside he's got to be churning, but I remember him coming up to bat with 2 out in the bottom of the 9th in Houston in a playoff game that the Braves were about to win, and him hitting a home run off Kyle Farnsworth to tie the game.
And if memory serves, it was in left center, and it was to the deepest part of the ballpark, and it was an absolute missile.
Yes, it was. No doubter from a guy who didn't hit a ton of homers. There was no question.
Two balls, 1 strike. 5-2 Atlanta, bottom of the 8th inning. The Braves are finishing 2016 better than anyone could have imagined. They've won 10 of their last 12, 18 of their last 28, and as I mentioned earlier, 4 consecutive series. Two balls, 1 strike. So the count's full. Peterson can run.
And if he keeps pitching Dansby away, it's going to be a 1st and 3rd situation or worse for Detroit. That hole on the right side.
Well, I'm guessing by his pattern, that's where he's going.
Yeah.
On a go, swing and a miss. Swanson expanded his strike zone, and Wilson ends the 8th inning. We go to the 9th inning. 5, 6, and 7 up for the Tigers. They're in trouble. It's 5-2 Atlanta. Freeman corks one toward right center field and deep. Made it back. That ball is gone. Freddie Freeman has hit a 2-run homer. Driven down the right field line. Did he get enough? Yes, he did. Nick Markakis with a solo homer. Hot shot. Dansby dives. Second one. On to first. Double play. What a Johnson. Braves aren't going to the playoffs this year, but you wouldn't know it by the emotion they're showing on the field, and the role of the spoiler has fit them well, fellas, over the last week and a half.
Well, a couple of guys at the top of the order, one guy in the middle of the order, and more importantly, the outing by Aaron Blair, striking out 10 guys. I don't know where that came from tonight, but I want to see more because Aaron was outstanding.
So we head to the Tigers' ninth with Jim Johnson on the mound and Emilio Bonifacio in left field. Jim has been on an incredible roll since July 26th. He's 16 for 16 in saves.
We'll try this on. Before he went to the disabled list, he was 0-4 with a 7.9 ERA. 12 earned runs in 13 innings. And to get his ERA down in the threes, that took a lot of work because he's only out there an inning at a time.
Fly ball by Upton, right center, and playable. There's out number one.
Chip, you're right. That double play zapped him.
I mean, look at that face. I mean, they look stunned.
Well, they're not used to not coming through with the hit lately. The last week to 10 days, they've won 8 out of 11. They're just hitting everyone, crushing everyone.
So the Tigers, barring a late rally, have to win tomorrow, have to get help, and may have to win Monday just to have a chance to continue on in October. That's where they stand in the wild card race, and beware the Mariners.
Yeah,
they're playing Oakland and they're beating Oakland early tonight out in Seattle.
So they could actually climb over Detroit tonight. It's a really difficult thing, and Tommy, to late, especially the last week of the season, and you got to have help from somebody.
Yeah,
because none of these teams are playing each other.
No, that's the worst position to be in. You got to get help.
Baltimore and Toronto had a series, I guess, earlier in the week where they could have helped themselves by knocking off one or the other.
That ball smoked toward the gap, and Bonifacio's going to chase that baby up against the fence, and Castellanos has a one-out double. And I can hear every fan in Detroit saying, why couldn't we have gotten that an inning ago?
This guy can hit, and he hit a good pitch. A fastball that was down, and he just dropped the barrel on it. Big, tall, rangy guy. Quick bat.
His 25th double. And now Saltalamacchia hits. He walked and scored the first Tiger run. Seems like only yesterday Jared was coming up through the Braves system, and he was going to be a mainstay in the Braves organization for a long time. As we mentioned, he was traded for Mark Teixeira, and now Jared, 30 years old. Doesn't seem possible.
No.
High fly ball hit toward right. Markakis drifting back. He's got room on the track. And Saltalamacchia hit it a ton. That's the biggest part of the ballpark. 390 feet away. And he just missed. And that's the second out.
As your dad used to say, if he'd have pulled that one, he'd have been in business.
And Miguel Cabrera pondering his at bat, I'm sure, against Chaz Rowe, as the Tigers are down to their last out. Only fitting that the Braves are playing meaningful games in the final series at Turner Field, and the crowd will rise as one. Nasty pitch at 95. Jim Johnson's pumped up. 1-1.
For this team, the Braves, that has suffered through a lot this year and through a lot of adversity, to play in these meaningful games and play in a game like this that has a strong postseason feel to it in front of a huge crowd, this is a big deal.
Yeah, you get a taste for the atmosphere for sure. Obviously, you don't have it as much at stake as the Tigers do right now. You don't have that kind of churning in your gut, but yeah, you definitely get a feel for what it's like and the importance of each pitch, the importance of each play, and it's a good experience for them.
That sound brings back memories, doesn't it?
Sure does.
And now the Braves are a strike away. Three balls, two strikes. Iglesias, a tough man to strike out. Here it is. Bounding ball, foul. Only Jose Altuve strikes out less frequently than Iglesias in the American League. 3-2. And you're seeing why. Freddie Freeman hit a homer. Nick Markakis hit a homer. Adonis Garcia, a two-run single. Aaron Blair, 6+ innings of 10 strikeout, 2-run ball.
Jim Johnson here, he doesn't want to get too cute because if he walks him, he brings the tying run to the plate. So he's just trying to get him to swing at a strike.
And the payoff. Right back where it came from, off the pitcher. Bobbled, throw to first. Jace took too long. And a run is in. And the Tigers aren't dead yet. And is Iglesias all right? Iglesias turned onto the field of play, and Omar Vizquel said, hey, get in foul ground and make your way back to first. Had the Braves seen that, they might have been able to throw down there and get a call. But now the tying run indeed comes to the plate for the Tigers, and it's Victor Martinez.
Yeah, I think Jim did slow it down, but Jace couldn't get rid of it quick enough. And now one of their big boppers who's not in the lineup because of the lack of a DH, and he's already got a couple of pinch hit homers this year.
Yeah, it's not a bad bat to be able to bring off the bench in this situation.
You think?
4 for 6, 3 homers as a pinch hitter.
And 27 homers and a .290 average. A switch hitter. And this is his power side. 20 of those homers have come as a left-handed batter. Ball one. And if he reaches, then you start worrying about Kinsler and company. A park that was roaring a moment ago, now buzzing with nervous anticipation.
Like all the rest of his teammates, the last 6 games for Victor Martinez, 7 for 21, 2 homers, 6 knocked in.
Two and 0. Got it by him. 2 balls and a strike.
Most of the Tigers are up on the rail.
Kind of surprised Iglesias hasn't taken second base yet. I know it's meaningless, but hate to see him not take it. And you get a diving play where you got a force play on the middle infield.
Again, the Braves a strike away as that one's fouled off.
And Martinez was late.
Would Jim Johnson dare throw him that curveball that's been such a great strikeout pitch lately?
As long as he throws it in the dirt.
Yeah, to a left-handed hitter, it's different. Different story.
I take my chances, sinker down and away. And
the 2-2. Did he go? He did not. And now Martinez faces a full count, and now Iglesias will be off to the races.
Ooh, baby, it's close.
So here we go. 3-2. There goes Iglesias. Swing, hot shot, liner. Peterson trapped it. Throw to first. Braves beat the Tigers. 5-3 your final. It is tough for any major league team to win a game when they have 4 innings of no contact, and that was exactly the fate of the Tigers tonight. The Braves staff struck out 12 Tigers in this 9-inning game, and they beat them to even the series. Final score 5-3. Blair wins it. Wilson loses it. Jim Johnson saves it. And the Braves have a shot tomorrow to win their 5th straight series and put a big-time hurting on Justin Verlander and the Detroit Tigers. Great game tonight in Atlanta. We'll recap it for you fully right after this.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by